Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you on this Father's Day weekend, on this Saturday. First, let me wish everybody out there a very happy Father's Day, and really the official start of summer. I grew up working in beach clubs because I lived at the beach. I grew up on the Atlantic Ocean, and as a kid, I worked at the Atlantic Beach Club. I had the parking lot concession for many years when I was a young kid, and everyone talks about Memorial Day, but Memorial Day is the unofficial start. The weather's not ready yet. Obviously, it wasn't this year. But the official start of summer is Father's Day. It always is. Third Sunday in June, and that's where we are right now. And now summer is underway in a big way. And obviously, here on Long Island, a very, very big time with the parade in nearby New York this week, with the U.S. Open at Shinnecock, which, if you know anything about Hampton's traffic and traffic, if you're traveling east on Long Island, um, this makes it chaotic this weekend with the U.S. Open in Southampton at Shinnecock, right at that juncture where it is. If you know the area, it just cannot handle the traffic, and you have right there some of the greatest golf courses in the world, all right on top of each other, one after another after another. As a matter of fact, Long Island, you could make the case probably if you go from the part of it where I live all the way out to Montauk, there's probably more good golf courses here than anywhere, without question, anywhere in the United States, but maybe anywhere in the world. I mean, there's that many great golf courses on Long Island. They did a feature on that on the Golf Channel this weekend. If you haven't seen it, check it out because there are so many unbelievable. A lot of them aren't attained. Either you got to be born into them to get into some of them, or it's $1 million to join some of them. So it's not like everyone's affordable. They're not. But there's a million courses, and there's plenty to play, even if you don't have those kind of resources. We're ready for round three. It's a little different U.S. Open scoring wise than they expected because they had that lull, especially on Thursday afternoon, where the weather just the wind died down completely, and guys took advantage of it, especially Wyndham Clark. At one point, his threesome were 1, 2, 3 on the board. So it showed you how now Johnson gave it back and Woodward gave it back, but obviously Clark has not. He's 7 under par, which is a very, this still might be 1 over par. Even with him 7 over par, it could still be 1 over par. I mean, it's not that crazy. Now, that's a big collapse for him. But today, they actually sent out, the USGA did last night, a text to all the players telling them today the conditions are going to be much faster and much firmer. So Shinnecock today is going to play like Shinnecock. And the wind is awful. I watched the pre-stuff this morning. Remember, they want to play into the evening here. NBC wants to play into the evening on Saturday and Sunday. The leader doesn't tee off until 3:45 this afternoon. As a matter of fact, Scheffler doesn't tee off till 2. Rory tees off about 12 minutes later because they're both even par. And the leader doesn't tee off Clark until 3:45 this afternoon. So the first story here is the wind, and they made the greens faster today. Obviously, the course is getting harder with the sun and the wind. It was fairly soft for Shinnecock the first 2 days. There were some avenues to score. You have 10 players under par. You have Clark at 7 under, and I'll get to the Bet Rivers odds in a little while. Clark at 7 under, 4 players at 3 under, led by Schauffele, who always plays great in the U.S. Open. My pick, Schauffele and Burns are my 2 guys. They're both right there. My third guy, Gerard, missed the cut by 1 stroke. My 80-1 guy. You have 4 guys led by those 2 at 3 under par. You have Morikawa at 2 under par. I don't know if his back's going to hold up, though. He's got a bad back. I don't know if he can handle the next 2 days. And then 4 guys at 1 under par, and then a whole host of guys at even par, led by, of course, the best 2 players in the world in Scotty, and who has not won a tournament in his last 11. And yesterday, hit the ball, tee to green, well enough to shoot 64, 65. Shot 68 left 4 or 5 putts right on the lip. I know he was very upset with his putting yesterday. I mean, listen, they weren't bad putts, but they just he didn't have it where he wanted it rolling the right way. Um, Shot 68, so wasn't bad. Um, and is even par. So the other fascinating part of this, other than the weather, is Clark. Clark, ever since he tore up Oakmont, has gotten a lot of scrutiny. He also has been known to have a bad temper. He also has been known to not handle things well mentally, and he's not a very popular player. So I don't know how the crowds are going to be on him today. Number one, number two, there's a lot of pressure on him today. I mean, when you're leading the U.S. Open halfway through with a 4-stroke lead, that's a lot of pressure, especially for a guy who, yes, he's won a U.S. Open, but has not fared unbelievably well in majors in his career. Now, he's a talented player, no question, and he's got a hot putter right now. So let's see what happens today. Be fascinating. Playing with Fitzgerald, who's 3 under par, who is an extremely dangerous player because he's one of the great putters in the world. Here's the odds right now, currently, for Bet Rivers. Clark with the 4-stroke lead is 150. He's the favorite to win it all at plus 150. Next up is Schauffele at plus 650. Next up is Fitzgerald at plus 700. Scotty is plus 1100. Rory is plus 1600. Burns, who's another guy that I bet at 35 to 1, is plus 2000. He's 1 under par. And Kim, who's 3 under, isn't getting treated as well because they don't expect him to stay there. He finished up very strong yesterday. He's plus 2,500. Those are the guys right now. Clark shot 64 the first day. He followed it up with a 69 yesterday. He's 7 under par. A lot of people thought this tournament would be won at -1, -2. So 7 under is not what they expected, but do not be surprised to see those scores going back today because right now, and the winds are ever changeable there. You might get a couple hours this afternoon when it's not really blowing that hard. We don't know. But right now, to say it was blowing bags down on the practice day. Guys were having their caps blown off. 22 miles an hour with gusts up to 33 miles an hour. That's a lot of wind. That's a lot of wind. You got to remember this course is between the Atlantic Ocean and Peconic Bay. The winds are ever changing. You got to be able to read the winds. And when you have ever changing winds and you got to be able to read variable winds, and then you have to hit certain parts of the green or the ball rolls off and the greens are getting harder, that makes these very, very, very tough holes to play. And you could even make the case that when the wind blows like this course is the hardest course to play in this country. So it is very difficult. I would be surprised if the wind stays like it is right now. And remember, as I told you, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. 3:30 this afternoon, I don't know what the wind's going to be doing when the leaders tee off. It could be very different. But if it's blowing like it's blowing now, these guys are going to have a long, long day out there. They really are. Here's the question. Does Clark hold the lead? I think it's going to be hard. I think everything went his way. He made about 100 foot of putts. He drained a lot of long putts. He's going to have to keep doing that. I think he'll get tested. I don't know if he'll hold up to it. I think it's difficult. Very, very difficult. I think Schauffele is a very dangerous player. He's a great U.S. Open player. He's always on the board at the U.S. Open. He will not go away. He's an unflappable player. He's a U.S. Open type player. He's a grinder. He's perfect for this. I think Burns, with his putting ability and as hot as he's been playing recently, I think is a threat. Is Scheffler ready to win? Now, this would be the Grand Slam for Scheffler, so it's a big deal, though he said that's not something he has really been pointing towards. But, hey, let's be honest, it's a big deal. Because not very many players have done it, and it took Rory 10 tries to do it with the Masters. I don't think Scotty is got everything together right now. It seems like every time I watch him, he's fighting something. Now, he's still the best player in the world, and it's not like he's not playing well this year, but he's not playing well for him because he's not closing the deals. He's not winning. He's finished second a couple of times. He finished second at the Masters of Rory. Hey, he's always right there. He always makes the cut. He's always in the top 20. He's always lurking, but he hasn't. Here comes Scheffler. He's like a locomotive, and you can't stop him. And we haven't had one of those. I don't think we get one of those today. I hope we do. I'd love to see it. But every time I'm looking for it, and I thought yesterday about 2 holes into his back nine, I said, here comes a tear. I thought he was clicking in. And tee to green, he did everything right, but he could not drop the putts. And that's what I'm talking about. Every single time lately, it seems like there's just something missing. I've been talking about the fact that, he's moving his wrist at the top of the swing, and it's affecting him, and he's not being able to control his driver. He controlled his driver yesterday really well. He's hit driver, but when he did, he hit the ball really well yesterday. So that wasn't an issue. But he wasn't rolling the putts as confidently as you would expect. He didn't make the putts that you thought he would make yesterday. He had makeable putts yesterday afternoon. He did not drop them. The bottom line is still Scheffler. The bottom line is still Rory. Now, Rory got to 3 under yesterday on a round and then came apart. We'll see. Do I think Rory's going to win? I don't. Do I think Scotty's going to win? I don't. Right now, I think Schauffele's going to win. I thought Schauffele was going to win before it started. I thought Burns was a big threat. I think they're both going to be right there. Guys who missed the cut: Rahm, who I guess was throwing his clubs around yesterday; DeChambeau, Reed, Hovland, Cantley, Koepka. Last year's winner, J.J. Spawn, never got going. He played with Scotty for 2 days. He was +8. Adam Scott, who give Adam Scott credit for one thing. That was his 100th consecutive major. You know how hard that is? First of all, it's you got to be a great player to qualify for all those majors. Secondly, never hurt, nothing, never sick. 100 straight majors he has played in. That's a remarkable achievement. It really is, of consistency. Really is. Unbelievable. Really a terrific achievement. Didn't make the cut, though, here at the U.S. Open. Now, as I told you, if you want to get out and about, now it's set up perfectly for Father's Day because you can have your barbecue and then sit back, put your feet up, and get ready for the U.S. Open and watch tomorrow into the 6 and 7 and 8 o'clock hours as they crown a champion. That's the idea. Today, same thing, though. You got a whole day of being able to do things. The leaders, Scotty and Rory, if you want to see them, they don't tee off till 2 o'clock. So if you miss their first hour, they're on the 4th hole. Then Wyndham tees off at 3:45. That's unbelievable. I mean, think about it. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so you can go do whatever you want all day and still come back 4 o'clock this afternoon, sit down and watch golf for 4 or 5 hours. So you can watch it into the evening this evening, which I like the way they do that. It's a very good idea. You have the time. It's light until after 8 o'clock. Utilize it, and away we go. A little baseball. So, again, clock, temperament, weather, wind, big factors. Scheffler, see if he can make a run. Rory, can he make a run? The big players are right there. There's plenty of big stars there to make a run. Fleetwood's there. You can go down the line. There's plenty of guys there. Let's see who makes the run. Now, Yankees, hey, the Yankees continue to beat up on bad teams. We know that. And they continue it just seems like at home they do. Now, ironically, the Yankee record, the Yanks are 9 games over 500 this year on the road and at home. And do I think we've learned anything special? I mean, they've played well without Judge. They've scored runs without Judge. They beat up on bad teams. Last night, Schlittler just overpowered a very poor, anemic Cincinnati Red team, one of the worst offensive teams in baseball. No walks, struck out 13 in a cakewalk game that they won last night. Um, Schlittler looked effortless in his effort. Great fastball. And I looked at the numbers because they both pitched last night. On the season, Schlittler 8-3, 1.71 ERA, 95 innings, 109 strikeouts, 18 walks, great number. .89 whip. 0.89 whip. Mizorowski, 8-3, 1.45 ERA to the 1.71 for Schlittler. 93 innings, the Schlittler's 95. A little bit of difference here. He's walked 5 more batters, 23, still an incredible number. He has struck out 138. That's a lot. He struck out 30 more batters in the same in 2 less innings, 2 fewer innings. He struck out 30 more batters than Schlittler has. .05 whip. 2 very, very dominant, hard throwing, big right-handers who are making their mark on the major leagues. As I said, the Yankees have played well of late. 8 of the last 10, moving right along. Obviously, they want to get all their pitchers healthy. You look at this team. Now, go on the premise that Judge returns comfortably mid to late August. No reason to rush him before that. No reason in the world. And gets a month under his belt to get ready for the postseason. And that he's ready to go and at fine fettle by the time the postseason starts. And they have Friedback with Cole and Schlittler. Do they need an upgrade in the pen? Well, everyone can always use an upgrade in the pen. So you never turn your back on that if you're looking at trades. The one thing they could use, and I don't think they need to make a move like for I like Chapman personally, the Giants. They don't need to bring his contract in. They don't need to bring him in. Play McMahon and Rosario. Okay. McMahon's hitting enough to keep his job considering how good a fielder he is. And Rosario punishes left-handed pitching. Goldsmith has been just utterly sensational. He has really made up for the loss of Stanton. Rice is having an MVP season, no question about it. 21 homers, 52 RBIs. They need a right-handed hitting catcher. Let's be honest. They need somebody who is, I don't need a quality stick. And defense matters, and a guy who handles pitches matters, and you'd want to get him here early enough where he gets enough games under his belt to learn these pitches well in advance of being ready for the postseason. It looks like the catching situation is not going to be settled the way you want it to this year. You don't want to have automatic outs against left-handed pitching. Now, you're not getting Goodman away from Colorado. Colorado's already stated. The guy's got 21 home runs. Okay, and 14 of them gone on the road. He's 26 years old and he's making 800 grand. They are keeping him. He is they're building around him. Okay, he is not going anywhere. He had 31 home runs last year. He's got 21 already this year. He's not going anywhere. You're not stealing him. I've heard people talking about him. No, you're not getting him. They're not giving him up under any why have a team? If you're going to give up a catcher who's 26 years old who hits 30 home runs and is making 800 grand right now, I mean, what are you doing? Why play? But they need to find a right-handed hey, could the Mets now the Mets are not gonna help the Yankees out, but, I mean, look no further. You wanna see you wanna put your eyes on a catcher, considering his defensive prowess and the fact that every time the bases are loaded, he gets a base hit. I mean, you know who you want if you're the Yankees, but they're not giving it to him. That's not happening. It's not happening, but he'd be perfect, absolutely perfect. That's exactly what they need. They need a catcher. Somebody who can handle a pitching staff, who can give you decent defense, and can get a base hit. You don't want to carry water. You don't want to be in the lineup and have him and McMahon. Who knows what's going on with Wells? You don't want the catcher, McMahon, and one other guy in the lineup at the bottom of the lineup, both be going bad, okay, and have 3 automatic outs in the bottom of the lineup. That's not what you're looking for. You don't want the bottom lineup to be completely anemic in big games. So, I mean, if you're talking trades, they don't need to, people talking about Scooble's gonna go here or you might go to Yankees. Why would the Yankees get Scooble? They don't need Scooble. I mean, listen, not that anyone wouldn't want Scooble. You can add him, but right now, I mean, if you can't win with a 1-2-3 of the Yankees 1-2-3, then why bother? I mean, that's if you can't win with those 3, then, you gotta go back to the drawing board. Those 3 can win anytime, anywhere if the Yankees play baseball properly, and that means timely hitting, smart play, good defense, clutch out of the bullpen. Hey, the postseason is about getting the big hit and the big out. That's what it's about. It's about a guy coming in and getting the big out. It's about the guy getting the 2-out hit. That's what it's about. You win with timely hitting, and you win with good play, and the Yankees have unraveled at times in the postseason, and they haven't been consistent. And can their play when they bludgeon another team, when they bludgeon the Reds or bludgeon the White Sox or bludgeon one of these bad teams and hit 3 or 4 home runs and get 15 hits, is that gonna ensure them that they're gonna play in the postseason? No, it doesn't. It doesn't ensure them at all. It all ensures them is that they're gonna get there. This team right now is the favorite in the American League. And if you wanna say it's still a cut below the 3 best teams in the National League, well, go ahead. That's fine. They only have to play one of them, first of all. They're not playing all 3 of them. So they're not playing the Braves, they're not playing the Brewers, they're not playing the Dodgers. They're playing one of them if they get to the World Series. So that's it, number 1. So it's 1 against 1. They're not playing 3 against 1. So you keep hearing, "Oh, the Yankees are, they're not better than any of the 3." That's fine. They can beat any one of those teams if they played their best baseball. The problem is the Yankees in recent years have gone into playoffs and they haven't played their best baseball. Now, this team, especially with the emergence of Schlittler as and there's no way in the world you can't call him an ace. He has passed that test. Now, if you want to say he doesn't pass that test till he does it in the big spot, well, he's already done it in the big spot in the postseason. We know that. But the bottom line is, hey, if you have a problem going to the mound with him, then I don't know what you've been watching. So they are going to represent themselves very well in the postseason. They are going to go into the postseason, and there's no reason in the world any Yankee fan should not go into that postseason with optimism, guarded optimism. Guarded because we've seen the results for a long time now. It's been a long time between titles. It's been a long time between great play. So it's not a given. And you have to go in with cautionary thoughts because we've seen what happens year after year after year. Can they maybe take their most powerful contingent in? Well, depending on where Judge is. Considering what Rice is providing. If Judge is on his game and the Yankees have guarded against or at least fortified against the bottom of the lineup being just completely dead wood in the last 3 or 4 slots. Because that makes it too easy on a good pitcher to turn things over. You don't, when the Yankees in the old days, you had a guy like Brosse's batting ninth, man. The guy was a pain in the rear end. I mean, he won games for you batting ninth. Now, no one's asking for a 98 RBI guy batting ninth, but you also don't want an automatic out or a couple of automatic outs back to back in the bottom of the lineup. And they need a catcher who at least is a representative right-hand hitter. Now, as far as the Mets go, I understand that the most optimistic of Met fans will look at the wild card and tell you that the Mets are 5.5 games behind the last wild card spot. Yes. But there are 7 teams between them and the last wild card spot. So the whole league, other than the Giants and the Rockies, is there in front of them. It's not just games, it's how many teams you have to climb over when it comes to wild card mathematics. They have to climb over the entire league. Until I see the Mets with a plus 500 cushion. Now, they are still a ways away from that. Okay? They are, for them, a very, very good month of baseball. A really good month of baseball. A +8, +9 month of baseball away from getting that. They're 7 games under 500. Okay? So have they played representatively? Yes, but remember, they have so many games left now with Atlanta and the Phillies. They have a much harder schedule than they played through a lot of those games, through the dark period, and then on forward, they were not playing a tough schedule. Yes, they beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. I cannot take a team that has an incredibly anemic offense and despite Soto doing his thing and Bichette, which I believed all along would get hot. And I believe at the end of the year, Bichette's numbers are going to be, 20 homers, 80 RBIs, and 290 or something. So, and you're going to say, well, he had a decent year, but he really didn't have a great year. But he had a decent... Okay, and I understand they're going to get Lindor back, and they've actually done a little bit of a Houdini act with a little bit of a magic act with the pitching, with the bullpen. But the starting pitching is just not there. And there's no depth. even if they figured McClain out and he was good his last game. But again, the last game was against a weak hitting team. Take that into account. Let me see it a couple more times. I can't take them seriously. I'm sorry. In any way. I cannot take them even. Let them run off a bunch of games. Let them get 2 or 3 games over 500. And then, you know what? We'll talk. There's still they are one bad week away from being complete sellers. And what that entails, how deep that goes, how much they wave the white flag on some of their acquisitions, remains to be seen. But I'll tell you this, looking where Bichette's coming and how he's played lately, and he's hit, I know he went 0 for 5 his last game. He was due. What did he have? 6 straight multiple hit games. He's going to hit. He's a hitter. Now, if you look at that lineup, how much better would it have looked if you had Alonso's 16 home runs and 50 RBIs behind Soto's? Met fans were right on about that one. They screamed about it, they yelled about it, and they were dead on about it. They were absolutely right about it. Absolutely right about it. I mean, he's going to wind up, even after a slow start in Baltimore, he's going to wind up with Pete numbers. And Baltimore's not having a season. And I don't know, I haven't paid attention to how happy or unhappy he is in Baltimore. And last night he hit his 17th home run. But he's got 17 home runs and 50 RBIs in half a season. That's still 35, 40 homers and 100, 110 RBIs. You tell me you couldn't use that at first base? Really? But I'm sorry. The Yankees is going to be just preparing. The playoffs are absolutely assured. You want to make sure you can keep your 3 big starting pitchers healthy and really purring going into the postseason. You want to get Judge back and get him healthy. You want to try to, I believe, find a right-handed catcher you could get some productivity out of, because you're going to need that. You need to work on the catcher position. And their questions aren't going to be answered till the postseason. For the Mets, like I said, run off a big month, then come talk to me. We'll see you later.